Today, the Senate spends more of your money on Ukraine while Americans suffer. Democrats say men can and should get abortions and much more crazy stuff. We've got all of that coming up, and it all starts right now. Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sarah Gonzalez, today joined by Jaco Booyens, BlazeTV contributor and host of The Bottom Line, also joined by the one and only Pat Gray, host of Pat Gray Unleashed. You should be subscribed and listening to both of these gentlemen's programs. You do not want to miss it. I mean, I don't mean to brag on you guys or anything, but
oh, it's fine.
It's kind of the best.
It's
kind of the best.
Yeah.
All right, I want to get into what is going on with Russia and Ukraine and our lawmakers apparently wanting to spend more and more money on, you know, just like a war going on in between two other countries that don't really have anything to do with us. The issue being a border that actually isn't our border.
That's right.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. We'll get into that. But first, I want to play yet another Joe Biden gaffe. This morning, Joe Biden met with the leaders of Finland and Sweden at the White House to offer U.S. support for their NATO applications. He, you know, of course, he had an embarrassing dementia-driven gaffe. Watch.
NATO's purpose is to defend against aggression. That's its purpose, to defend. And let no one make a mistake of the meaning of this historic day. Standing together today, we reject the bloody creed that might makes right, and we declare more powerful creed. All for one and one for all.
The Musketeers. Yes, it's the three Musketeers. All for one and one for all. Look at the faces behind them. They go, swallow me now. I don't want to be in a photo with this guy.
Oh, man. I mean, you watch how bad he's gotten, and you're just like, how much longer before he literally just, I don't know, drops dead in front of the entire country? And I'm not saying that as if I hope for it. I'm just saying you got to believe that's going to happen soon at the rate that he is decelerating right before our very eyes. I mean, he's just deteriorating.
It's a debacle. It's sad. It's a misrepresentation of who we are as a people. But how can you blame the world right now when they look at America and go, yeah, you're a bunch of idiots. This is who you choose to represent you? Really? You know,
yeah, can you blame Putin for going and doing what he did?
Oh, are you kidding me?
He's not scared of us.
Let's talk Hong Kong. Wait a minute, though. There's stuff coming here. China, let's talk southern border.
Yeah.
$38 billion when Trump comes and says, hey, we need $3.4 billion to secure the border. Oh, can't do it.
Right.
The Republicans can't do it. Sorry, Mr. President has a lot of money. This is not even to secure a border, by the way. We don't even know where this money is going. Yeah. There's no traceability. You can't even audit this. This is like vapor. Taxpayer money go to what? Probably to some of their friends for arms and ammo and whatever, and medicine and pharma, but it's like it's vapor. You can't even measure this.
So let me get into the specifics of this bill that we are talking about. So the Senate has voted 86-11 in favor of what Greg Price here calls the money laundering scheme to Ukraine, which I love because that's exactly what it is. 11 Republicans voted against it. It was Hawley, Marshall, how do you say that? Crapo? That's unfortunate.
Yeah, Crapo.
That's unfortunate. Braun, Paul, Blackburn, Hagerty, Loomis, Boozman, Tuberville, and Lee. Tuberville, sorry. Were the only ones who voted against it. That is, you know, I feel like I say this so often on this program, but who needs enemies with friends like these? I mean, really, who does?
And God bless Mike Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the guy
and Rand Paul.
And Rand Paul.
Yeah, and
always there.
Yeah.
Marsha Blackburn, stalwart, she's there. You know why? There's a couple states that should be on that list that's not there.
Where's Ted Cruz?
Where's Texas?
Yeah. Where are they?
It's a good question.
I mean, come on.
Obviously, they're supporting this.
Who needs enemies with friends like these?
They're supporting our war against our proxy war against Russia. They're apparently supporting it.
They're going to support that.
I mean, $40 billion. We've already given them $4 billion.
Yeah.
So this is up to 44, somewhere between 44 and 50 billion already. And I think we're a ways away from any sort of resolution here. But the other thing is, you can't minimize how bad Joe Biden is.
No.
Can you? I mean, every day it's another terrible gaffe like the one he just made, and we've got a gaffe from another president coming up that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, and they're making a huge deal out of that. Every Democrat, every pundit, they're all jumping all over him for that. They completely ignore absolutely everything this president says and does that just shows how cognitively declined he is.
That's a great point.
How blatantly biased.
Let me go ahead. Let's go ahead and play that just to Pat alluded to it. Former President George W. Bush also commented on the Ukraine crisis while speaking to an audience at his presidential library here in Dallas at an event, of course, focused on the importance of ensuring secure elections. And he had, I think, probably the worst Freudian slip imaginable. Watch.
Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine.
Oopsies.
Correct. Anyway.
Okay, we're talking about a president that, look, he was not a good public speaker. He had gaffes all the time. I don't think there's one that's worse than that.
No, I think that's his worst ever because of the implications there of how he's putting that and how he's speaking of it. I mean, up until this point, my favorite gaffe from Bush was probably OBGYNs are practicing their love with women all across America. That was a great gaffe. And then there was the poor people aren't necessarily killers. In other words, just because you're poor doesn't necessarily mean you're going to kill, which was
very
excellent
insightful.
and a powerful point.
Yeah.
I thought it was a powerful point.
Well, I didn't realize up until he said it that poor people weren't actually just all killers.
Right. I know. Everybody thought they were.
Very important nugget to society. Look, I mean, I look at that and I go, man, should I hold my tongue?
No.
I've been face to face with that man 2 weeks before COVID, and I had to look down, way down. And I challenged him on some things, and he was blank. So he's maybe stuck in Iraq because that's basically his whole presidency was really about that, right? But no, it's a major, monstrous gaffe, but not cut from very different cloths, though. A lot of the stuff we fight today, his dad was also not on the right side. So look, I trust so few politicians at this point.
Globalists.
Exactly. They're globalists.
Yeah, taking pictures with Barack and Michelle Obama.
Yeah, they're globalists. I mean, so they're really not that far apart when you really go to Washington, D.C., and you understand that it's one big party that's trading on behalf of America. These are the guys that all play it safe, that look at the DeSantises and the Trumps of the world as, the deplorables and the outliers because they won't kiss the ring, right? So yeah, he's gaffing. They're all falling apart. It's almost like there's a disease in that camp, and it's all of a sudden somehow released, and they're all just losing brain power.
Yeah.
Kamala is coming unglued. She can't put two sentences together.
Yeah.
He can't. He's back in Iraq. He's sending. He would probably, if he was president right now, send $40 billion to Iraq. Who knows? Hit the wrong button. How often does that happen with Biden? We actually signs the wrong document or hits the wrong button.
Probably a lot.
This is. Yeah.
Yeah, probably a lot.
I just can't imagine. I mean, you have American voters who, again, I know we talk about this on the program so often, but it just remains to be the driving point, which is they're all going to the gas pumps. They're all seeing that. They're all feeling the increase when they go to the grocery store. And these are things that the typical American has to do. They have to fill up their gas tank. They have to go buy groceries. They have to buy food for their children. They're seeing all of these increase in all of the prices. And then seeing all of the lawmakers who are supposed to be there to serve them turn around and be totally fine with baby formula completely off the shelves. You can't be able to feed your baby, but they're going to send money over to Ukraine, which doesn't affect your daily life at all. I can't fathom what they think is going to happen in the midterms.
Well, hopefully they're going to get their ass kicked. In the midterms, the Democrats.
It just seems like such a horrible strategy, though.
They have to get their ass kicked in November.
Royally.
Right? I mean,
and that's, of course, assuming that it's going to be an actual secure election that doesn't involve.
Talking, Sarah, even if you bring voter fraud, this is, sorry, Pat, continue. I'm
no, go ahead.
But even if you bring voter fraud, the type of victory we're talking about here in November has to be something so over the top. It's got to send shockwaves through the world. It's not just an election. It should be the American public's time to send a signal to the world going, we have been misrepresented. Let our voice be heard. Let freedom ring. We're going to make such a statement that it's an absolute embarrassment.
And it overcomes whatever
whatever
discrepancy
discrepancy
that they
there
try
could
to pull
be.
off.
It's the only way. People ask me, can we secure? No, how are we ever going to, get ourselves to a point where we're certain now that we've secured the fences, right? No, I'm just saying the 40% of Christians that did not vote, and the 40% evangelical, you better get out. You get out. You vote.
Right.
You vote legally. You vote. This is what I'm talking about. It's got to be an avalanche, like what happened with Trump. They were sure they had Hillary as a shoo-in. There was a sucker punch from the American people that just said, not yet.
Yeah.
That needs to happen again, but in overwhelming fashion.
So obviously that portion of the program was not available on YouTube. I'd like to remind all of you who are watching on YouTube, if you would like to hear the conversation that just took place, and I trust me when I tell you, you do. You can sign up for Blaze TV. You can use promo code NEWS. You'll save about $10 when you sign up for the year. BlazeTV.com/newsny. Use promo code NEWS. You're going to be missing these conversations. It's not us, okay? It's not our fault. We can't do anything about it, except you can, which is catch it on Blaze TV or listen to the audio podcast download, which is typically censor-free. I want to say one more thing before we go to break as well, which is, Yaku, you pointed out, we're talking about all of these elections. Guys, there were just elections there were a lot of statewide elections that just took place a couple nights ago. There's also a runoff in Texas, runoff elections going on in Texas right now. Go participate in them. We're talking about the Bushes. You have George P. Bush, who is trying to become our Attorney General of Texas and has already said he would not prosecute any cases related to CRT or forcing your kids to wear masks or a whole other LGBT, a whole other plethora of issues that are important to you guys. So I'm telling you, make the time and go freaking vote.
Stand in line. Get uncomfortable.
The sad part is there's no freaking line.
Yeah, there aren't even any lines. Listen, we need Ken Paxton as our Attorney General. We, not just even the people, my organization, because I'm telling you, we're not going to get any pedophiles in the court of law under a Bush.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
It'll be a disaster on the border. This is not even a question. People have to step up. That's what I meant. Take ownership of your country and your state, and please participate.
Jesse Jackson said one thing I agree with about 20 years ago when he said, "Get out the bushes." And I agree with that. Get out the bushes.
Wow, I never knew I agreed with Jesse Jackson.
Yeah.
I don't want to agree with Jesse Jackson, but I do on that one.
Yeah,
we got one more to get out of, and that's George P.
Right.
Can we please?
Right.
For the love of heaven.
Yes.
Because we've got good options there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Ken Paxton has been really strong for this state. And look, I don't, I would imagine that he will come out looking very strong. But just the fact that this guy thinks that he has a place in Texas at this point in time is, I know, it's disgusting. All right. I know. We got more to get into that is not local elections, but first, we want to thank our sponsor, Genucel. So, look, time's running out to get Genucel's most popular package for 60% off at Genucel.com. It's a limited time opportunity. You can get their brand new Ultra Retinol Cream for maximum anti-aging benefits with your order. This stuff is great. I use it every day. Genucel's secret is combining the moisturizing effects of hyaluronic acid and a natural plant alternative to retinol in a proprietary base. This is a formula that can deliver all of the anti-aging benefits of retinol without any of the harsh side effects, because there's a lot of retinol creams that you try and like your face starts peeling and it gets like really dry and flakes off. This should not happen with Genucel. You're going to have results that you love guaranteed or your money back. You can join Genucel's best-in-class rewards program at checkout for an extra 10% off your order and a complimentary sample gift set. That every most popular package includes Genucel's immediate effects, absolutely free. I use this stuff. I'm actually 95 years old, but you wouldn't know it because I use Genucel. You can go to Genucel.com/Y for up to 60% off. That is GENUCEL.com/Y. We have discussed on the program the new press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, and just how great, what a gift she is. What a gift she is to us. She's doing a tremendous job.
Really good description of her.
I mean, this is a gift.
I love
This is what happens when you pick someone based on absolutely no qualifications for the actual job that they will be doing, but rather their intersectionality checkboxes. So Peter Doocy asked this new press secretary whether threats of violence, when you're talking about the Supreme Court justices being threatened on a daily basis, we now know of death threats, things of that nature, whether threats of violence were coming from pro-lifers or pro-choicers. And, I don't believe she answered that question. Here's that exchange.
There's a bulletin now that DHS is worried if Roe v. Wade is overturned, there could be violence against the Supreme Court building or Supreme Court justices. Are these threats from pro-abortion activists or anti-abortion activists?
So look, the president is clear on this question. He believes the right to peacefully protest in this country is fundamental. But he also believes that violence, threats, and intimidation have no place in political discourse anywhere. That is true whether it is in front of a courthouse or in front of a healthcare clinic. And that's the thing. I feel it seems like to us it is very one-sided on what we call out as intimidation or as violence. So we want to make sure we're calling out on both sides of what is happening and what we're seeing.
Except I didn't really actually hear you answer
Not
the
at all.
actual question
Not
that
even
was
close.
asked of you. It's interesting because this memo that was discussed, that was leaked to Axios, suggested that pro-lifers would be violent because they're white supremacists who believe abortion is a white genocide, except it's not. Black babies are the ones that are getting aborted at like nearly 4 times the white rate. So, I mean, Margaret Sanger would be so thrilled to hear that this is actually a black genocide if you want to get to the heart of the matter. But facts don't seem to matter to them very much.
Zero. She's reading everything. It's pre-scripted.
That's really bad.
Which means it's intentional deflection. They know. Those who wrote that, it's so bad. At least Jen Psaki made black, empty, soul-crushing eye contact.
That's a great one.
I mean, right? At least your poor man's Peppermint Patty made eye contact. She at least could cognitively think for herself. This one can't. This one's just reading. You see eyelids, nothing else. I mean, it's a debacle. But this is what I want black America to hear today. And yes, I say black because I'm African American and I'm not black. So I want black America to hear this. Your race, the black race, in 2050 is going to be extinct in this country. Your birth rate is 1.4%. When you dip under 2.5% as a society, you
We're
go
not even
backwards.
at replacement numbers.
You can't replace.
No.
This is the play by the party that tells you Black Lives Matter. Margaret Sanger does too. Kill all black babies in the womb. But really, it's like literally a genocidal cleansing that they're going through. And for some reason, the black American community doesn't see it because it's not messaged right to them. They should be up in arms.
Yeah.
They should be the ones protesting Roe v. Wade going, you've killed our future.
There's a reason the black population percentage in this country has stayed constant for about, I don't know, 100 years. It's been at right around 12 to 14% for certainly as long as my lifetime.
Yes.
And way beyond that. And it's worth considering that more black children in New York City are still aborted every year in New York than are born alive.
Yes.
14 million black babies have been aborted since Roe v. Wade. I mean, there are a bunch of numbers that tell the story. For some reason, the Hispanic population is going up, but the black population is not. And that's not because we don't want it to.
Right.
That's because people are getting too many abortions in the black community. Yeah. And we want it to stop. How is that racist?
No, it's
How?
not. It's not racist, Pat. Israel, give or take 600,000 men, women, and children. Just say 2 million Israelis, Jewish tribe is alive in the time of Moses. They go, hey, we got to procreate. Now you got a nation that literally birthed itself out of extinction to be the leader in tech development, in military weaponry, etc. If you really want, because when you have babies, you give God the opportunity to birth a child with intellect and that can be a leader. They go, no. We have a class here we need to oppress. Here's the number. It's 14%. So if there's 14% black in America, half is women, 7%. Only 4 of the 7% are childbearing. So you got 4% of the black community that's carrying the whole race on their back.
They don't have a chance.
There's no chance.
Yeah.
Don't have a chance.
On the subject of abortion, yesterday the House actually held a hearing on abortion access. One of their witnesses was a woman named Amy Arambide. I don't know how to say that. The executive director of the abortion rights nonprofit called Avow Texas. And she was asked if men can get pregnant and have abortions. Here is what she had to say on that.
What do you say a woman is?
I believe that everyone can identify for themselves.
Do you believe then that men can become pregnant and have abortions?
Yes.
That's quite the expert witness you guys have there. Man,
Yeah,
of all the
good?
people you could pick to be experts, somehow this lady gets up there. I want to play one other exchange, which was, I want you to focus on when she's answering the question on whether or not abortion should be allowed for any reason. And when she answers just her last question, she just has this evil smirk about her when she's basically saying, yeah, I think abortion should be fine up until the very point of birth, because I trust people to make decisions for themselves and their own bodies and stuff. Watch.
So abortion should be allowed then, by your definition, for any reason, for any purpose, at any stage, right?
I trust people to make decisions about their body, and then when relevant, I think that they need to consult their medical practitioners.
Okay.
And not
if it is,
Congress.
listen, let me just ask you this question. If it is not lawful and morally acceptable to take the life of a 10-year-old child, I assume you agree with that, right? That would be wrong, correct?
I wouldn't assume.
I believe that.
Okay.
That is
And a
wrong.
2-year-old child, same thing. That would be murder. We would all agree that's wrong. Then what is the principal distinction between the human being that is 2 years old, or 9 months old, or 1 week old, or an hour old, than one that is 8 inches further up the birth canal in the utero? What's the difference? Why is it okay in the latter case and not the former cases?
Hello?
I trust people to determine what to do with their own bodies.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it.
Yeah, but it's not their body.
Right.
Right.
It's the baby's body.
Which he has just pointed out to her.
Right.
It's the baby's body.
Literally, we're talking about a baby that could be 1 minute from going through the birth
They're
canal
not even
and being
denying
born.
that it's a child anymore.
No.
Once
They don't
upon
care.
a time,
No.
they talked lump of cells.
care.
Now it's just like, no. Look, it's the most selfish movement on earth, number one. It's eugenics, but here's the deal. Yes, if a woman, a real woman, a biological woman made by God, one with uterus, ovaries, right? A woman then identifies as a man. Now they say, well, a man can give birth. No, that is a woman. I want to throw out a challenge here on your show.
Okay.
Please, write us in. Write Sarah in. If you were birthed from a womb of a biological man, we want to meet you. We want to meet you and do experiments on you because you're super unique.
Guinness would like to meet him too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That would be something else.
Last word on this, Pat.
This woman is just butt stupid. Why are the Democrats turning to people like this? So you're saying a man can get pregnant and have an abortion?
Yes.
What? Get out. Get the F out. Right now. Get out. I can't take it.
It's really bad.
We should do a Q&A. I should ask the questions and you should role play as that girl. I mean, it's a fun situation.
All right, we've got more to come. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Fast Growing Trees. So it's about summertime, all right, which means it's finally time to start getting outside, maybe have a pool party, barbecue, but you don't want your yard to look like a plant cemetery, okay? So you got to get your place looking like a resort easy with Fast Growing Trees. FastGrowingTrees.com. They have experts that curate thousands of plant varieties that will thrive in your specific climate, location, and needs. You don't have to go to the store. You put the plant in your car and it gets all messy and gross and you got dirt in your car now that you have to vacuum out later. You don't have to go through all of that. Your plants are shipped to your door in 1 to 2 days and they have growing and care advice available 24/7. Here's the thing. Fast Growing Trees makes it perfect, very, very easy for you. You go on there, you can even tell them, this is the climate that I live in, and they will suggest whatever is going to grow and thrive in your particular environment. I love Fast Growing Trees because I suck at like everything plants. Like you give me a plant and I will kill it, except when I've gotten it from fastgrowingtrees.com. But they do have a 30-day Alive and Thrive guarantee, so you can trust everything will be healthy for years to come. You got to try them out. It is fastgrowingtrees.com/news for 15% off. That is fastgrowingtrees.com/news. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida was asked by a reporter about a comment made by a representative that Florida is actually, you didn't realize this, is similar to communist regimes. And DeSantis, as always, did not disappoint with his response. Watch.
How do you feel about some members of the state legislature, specifically Carlos Padilla, equating to your administration as a regime, equating you to an authoritarian dictator like Castro or even Maduro?
Well, I think it's a slap in the face to everybody in South Florida that has experience with these Marxist dictators in our hemisphere. You have people who were driven out of the island of Cuba. You have people that's so bad, the oppression there, that they would get on a raft and go 90 miles over shark-infested waters to be able to get to freedom. To equate Florida, which is viewed not only in our country, but even around the world as a beachhead of freedom, to equate that with those regimes just shows that you have no idea what you're talking about. And I think that it really does a disservice to the oppression that so many people in southern Florida have faced either firsthand or through members of their family. And there's a reason why people are pouring into the state of Florida.
It just is incredible to me with all of the things that he has recently done. I guess they're trying to hit him for the parental rights in education bill, or maybe eliminating Disney's special privilege and treatment. I don't know, because I look at them and I'm like, he was the only place that didn't shut everyone down and force them to wear masks forever. Like, he literally was out Texasing Texas.
Yeah, he did.
How in the world could you ever possibly come to the conclusion that Florida is a communist regime? It's laughable. These people don't even understand the words. They don't understand the definitions of the words that they use. They just repeat them like parrots.
Yeah, they couldn't give you a definition of communism if they tried. But all it means is you're a communist because you stand against us.
You're doing things that I don't like, and you're a communist.
You're doing a really good Paris Hilton today.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe a little Kardashian.
Hot.
Maybe a little
That's
Kardashian.
Hot.
Oh, that's hot. Yeah.
That's what she used to say.
Just if you had to keep the family empire, don't give it up. Like the Hiltons did. No, look, go, Ron, go. Double down, buddy. Go after every single establishment, organization, Disney, all of them. Go after them, make them come down to regular level. stand in line, and go get your permits to build a toilet or an outhouse or whatever you're worth. You know, just come back here to earth. Live like normal Americans. Hold them accountable. It's just when you hold it, it's the culture of zero accountability. We want to do whatever we want, and if you dare stand against us, you're a Nazi. What is a Nazi? I don't know, but you're one.
Right. It's just funny, too, because all of these people, you know, the Democrats used to talk about, corporations are evil. We can't be giving special treatment and loopholes to corporations. Right. And now they're like, how dare you take away Disney's special privileges that they didn't really even deserve or earn?
All of a sudden, Democrats are big into big pharma.
Yeah.
They love it. They can't get enough of Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. They love Disney all of a sudden. I mean, what's next? Are they going to embrace ExxonMobil? Probably not, but maybe. I don't know.
Hey, I'd love to see them go there.
Well, maybe in an attempt to move away from Elon because they're mad at Elon.
Right.
They'll be like,
I could see that.
Screw you. We're going back to Exxon.
But you know, it's a great point you're making. I was in LA, in California last week, right? So as we're flying in, my business partner flew with me, and I said, hey, I want to count the Teslas. I want to see if anybody's parking their Tesla and not driving Tesla. No, they're out there. They love their Tesla, but they hate Elon. I'm like, you absolute numbnuts. Okay? I can't stand Elon, but I got to drive my Tesla. Well, it's like them standing with a Starbucks cup going, global warming. And you're like, thank you.
So it's interesting. They just told me in my ear that the ESG scores, they took Tesla off and they added Shell.
They eliminated Tesla from the S&P 500. Is that amazing?
That's crazy.
That is
outrageous. Yeah. It's outrageous. Here's an electric car company. They're not a hybrid car company.
Because of the personality
They're electric
of the
cars.
guy. Yeah. It's insane. It's insane.
And there's a reason that Tesla, selling about 1/100th of what GM and Toyota do, is a far more valuable company than GM and Toyota. It's the most valuable car company in the world. And they don't sell anything like the numbers of the other car companies. And yet they're worth over $1 trillion for some reason. It's because it's such a great company and it's well run by Elon Musk, and it's the car company of the future.
Yeah.
If they can ever figure out how to get it to go.
Wait for Starlink. There's something coming. I'm just telling you, but I'm telling you, there's something coming. This old Twitter deal, the Twitter freeze, and look, they got to do an audit. The bots, which by the way, is when you start selling stock and you're loading subscribers that are not real subscribers every quarter. This is going to be a fun journey. But I just think personally, not that this is the topic, Elon, something about Starlink, something about the phone, the operating system. I think personally he's gunning for Apple. I think there's a big blow. He's going to deliver a major blow with his phone and satellite and direct uplink to another big company called the Apple.
That would be very, very interesting to watch. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back with more.
Starlink needs a social media type operating system.
So the House passed 2 bills that they claim are to remedy the baby formula crisis, but shockingly, and you guys are going to be so surprised to hear this, not exactly transparent, these bills. So the House voted 414 to 9 to pass the first bill, which allows low-income women to purchase more baby formula through the federal WIC program. The second bill was a much more partisan vote. It was 231 to 192. A bunch of Republicans voted against this bill because, so the bill sends $28 million to the FDA and prevents fraudulent products from entering the United States, which, of course, I'm sure would be all of the cleaner baby formulas that are available in Europe that they don't allow us to be able to have access to. Yep. This is the same FDA who claimed that all of these babies died with no evidence, and it turns out that they did an investigation and found out that they were wrong. And so I guess as a big punishment, we are going to, they want to send them $28 million more dollars so that they can continue to screw up.
That's crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they proved nothing. against the Abbott laboratories? Absolutely nothing. They didn't have the same bacteria that killed the babies. So they still don't even know where it came from. So why did it take this long to go ahead and say, okay, you can open up in 2 weeks? Why didn't we do that back in, I don't know, January, right after you found out that they didn't have the bacteria there? I mean, this is a manufactured crisis.
100%.
As Yaku was just saying a few minutes ago, it's completely manufactured. I mean, we went through the pandemic, and we had food, we had baby formula, and we had plenty.
Yeah.
And now that we're out of it, now we've got all these things coming down, and they keep warning us that by the end of the year we're going to have really serious food shortages.
Yeah.
It's being done on purpose.
Yeah, 100%. Paying farmers to destroy crops. This is what happens when the government goes and takes the baby formula and put it in McAllen, Texas in a warehouse, and it's off the shelf, and at the same time you shut down the production because some bogus investigation, right? It's all just part of the plan. It's like them sitting around a round table and go, how do we? What is our next thing that we push? How do we? You know what? You know what really get people in a frenzy? Baby formula. If moms can't feed their babies, more dependency on the government while you're attacking your children with sex in the classroom, it's literally shiny object. Look over here. Smack you from this side. Look over here. And it doesn't stop because COVID just didn't last long enough.
Yeah.
They didn't quite make it to the midterms. So if it's not baby formula, it would be whatever. They'll release snakes and cancel all, snake, to cancel snake venom. They'll do whatever they need to do to put society in a frenzy so we don't actually talk about the real issues, the corruption, the true collusion, the cesspool, of what is Washington, D.C., all while siphoning off money and just printing. I mean, we're sending money all over.
To your point, it is interesting because if they weren't just trying to manufacture this crisis, I don't think that Facebook and big tech would be doing things like this, censoring baby formula recipes. So Facebook banned people from posting. This was a vintage 1960 recipe for homemade baby formula. They are censoring it and calling it false information because they said it was not up to date on today's nutritional standards and hasn't been, quote, evaluated by governing authorities.
So Facebook are now the experts on baby formula?
Well, it's like, okay, so like either my baby starves because I literally can't find baby formula anywhere, or I have some sort of alternative that might not be up to your considerations of health, which, by the way, probably are out of whack if most Americans are obese. But they're not up to the government nutritional standards. So instead, my baby just dies because they don't have formula?
Okay, but hold on one second, Sarah. You're telling me that Facebook, the company that wants to see babies aborted in the womb, is also the company that says don't feed your baby formula. Yeah, because they want to kill the children.
Right. They'd rather them have the corn syrup-filled baby formula pack.
And have you noticed that cow's milk and goat's milk, they're saying, are completely verboten?
Yeah.
Now, I don't think we've ever fed our babies cow's or goat's milk, but I know a lot really
in Africa, that's almost all they drink. If some mother doesn't have breast
if there's
milk.
no other.
What happened when we didn't have Similac on the shelves in 1830? They fed them something. What'd they feed them?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, breast milk, but some mothers couldn't.
Right.
So there had to be some alternative back in the day. Why all of a sudden are these other alternatives just so dangerous to babies? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they are, but I know a lot of people who use them.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's take a break. And we've got a very interesting video that's probably going to set off your, I don't know, maybe make your head explode. So we'll be right back.
Okay, hold on. You love it. And you want it, and you picked it out, but you don't want it for school. Can you tell me why?
Because last time I wore a dress to school, everybody called me a girl.
Do you think bright, pretty colors and dresses and sequins and jewels and golds, all the things that you always want to wear, do you think that's your innermost you?
Innermost you.
It is.
Well, how are you going to be your innermost you when we live in a place that people think clothing belongs to particular gender? I guess you just have to decide.
Sounds like a pretty adult question.
If being you is the most important part of you.
How old is this boy? I'm sorry, son. I'm going to apologize to you that your mom is a witch. That your mom is a witch, that she worships Satan, that she sorry, Sarah, I'm sorry, this is your show, but...
No, go for it.
I'm telling you, I get so... Go ahead, Pat.
I think that was Yakubuyan censoring himself.
Yeah, wow.
Can't blame you. I can't blame you. I have the exact same reaction.
Apparently the kid didn't want to be called a little girl, though.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So why is she still pushing that agenda on him?
Doesn't it show you everything you need to know about this woman by the fact that she's videotaping the entire conversation with him to post on social media so that everyone can see it and like it and think that she's so virtuous?
Yeah, so progressive and so profound, and that's so wonderful that you accept him that way.
And the kid is like clearly just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just a kid and I don't know what we're talking about. I just want to go play. Like, look, I said this. I was on with Jesse Kelly yesterday and I said, that I've never seen Yaku this angry, by the way. I said, I will not walk this back. This is child abuse. And to me, this type of thing, death penalty. Death penalty.
Yes.
I won't walk it back. I will not walk it back because you are pushing kids to be more confused and leading them to be more prone to suicide themselves. I think death penalty for all of the parents who do this. Not sorry. Not walking it back. So there that is. Send me the hate mail. I don't care. Thank you guys, both of you, for joining me today. We'll see you guys tomorrow.